Good evening, everyone, and namaskar from my side. And I need not emphasize more about the role of stress in lifestyle diseases. We all are doctors. We know enough about it. We'll do this session in three parts. There'll be a short talk on a touch up on stress, and next will be science of meditation. What is the physiology of meditation? And then we'll do a practical meditation session. What is stress? Can anybody define? Would anybody like to comment on that?
Gap between what you can do and what you want to do.
Okay,
In
ma'am.
my opinion, stress is one important thing. What you want to do and what you can do.
Yeah,
That
great.
is one reason of stress.
Great, ma'am. Great. So, stress is actually, it is a very physiological thing. Stress was developed as a part of our development, human evolution. It was for our survival and protection. All the acute stresses, it is a response of the body against any insult, any threat, any risk to the survival of the organism is called stress. Okay, and the stress response, it is generated in the body when there is a threat. Like there is a primitive man and he faces a tiger, he faces an opponent, he faces a wild animal, he faces a fire. There is a response which helps him protect against all these threats, and this is called a stress response. It happens like through the senses. We get the we perceive through the senses, then we process it in the prefrontal cortex. Whether this we process it rationally, kya ye threat hai, kya ye risk hai, is it not a risk, and then this processing goes to the amygdala. If it is a risk, then there is generation of emotions, which is the emotion center is the amygdala, which is part of the limbic system, and this generates emotions of fear, or if there is opponent, there is an emotion of anger, and all these emotions, they are interpreted as threat, and this signal goes to the hypothalamus, and the hypothalamus activates the sympathetic nervous system, and the organism, it prepares itself for a fight or a fright or a freeze responses. Okay, so all the sympathetic hormones, adrenaline, cortisol, they all come into action. The muscles go tense, the heart rate increases, the respiration increases, blood pressure increases, oxygenation, pupils dilate, blood sugar increases, and it prepares the organism. Okay, so this is a very normal and physiological response. And after the threat is gone, what happens is there is a relaxation response, and the relaxation response also goes through the same pathway. The prefrontal cortex detects that the threat is gone rationally, logically, through intelligence, and then the hypothalamus is activating the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the repair, rest, regeneration system of the body. So our default mode is always the parasympathetic nervous system, and in between that, whenever there is stress, there is acute rise of their stress response. So our normal physiological state is always a parasympathetic nervous system. So this is the basic physiology of stress. So now, why do we have stress? In modern days, there are no tigers, there are no predators, there are no enemies, there is no fire, nothing, no injury. So why? So our modern day stressors are the thoughts. They are internal. What are our thoughts? They are just the activities of the mind. Okay, and why do thoughts create stress? Thoughts are important. Thoughts are so important. For every action, it begins with a thought. Everything we do, it begins with a thought. So the problem with the thoughts is that whatever thoughts we have, it has been seen that we have around, in a average day, the person has a 40 to 50,000 thoughts per day, and out of those thoughts, 90% are repetitive thoughts, excessive, repetitive, compulsory, involuntary thoughts. So if we sit and analyze our thoughts, most 90% of thoughts are thoughts of the past. It is a replay of events which happened in the past. Somebody said something, this happened with the staff, this patient did something, and future projections. The tensions of the future, the thoughts about insecurities of the future, well-being ourselves, well-being of our loved ones, well-being of our patients, and finances, work, everything. So these future projecting thoughts and the past thoughts, they all run like a movie, involuntary movie in the mind. They keep on going on and on and on. If we try to analyze, only 10% of the thoughts are fresh thoughts and creative thoughts. Okay, so these thoughts are the cause of our stress. Okay, and what happens, these thoughts, they are taken as threats by the amygdala, by the emotional processing center, and it is like a threatening situation 24/7 which is going on in our mind, which triggers the same stress response which was there when we were primitive, which we were early man. So this constantly awakened activated sympathetic system causes the chronic stress. This is what is called as chronic stress, and this is the reason behind the one of the root causes of all chronic diseases, lifestyle diseases, and mental, physical and mental. Okay, so as Dr. Rupal said, the cortisol. So this is one of the one of another cause other than food, which causes consistently raised blood sugar, the high cortisol levels. So one more important and interesting thing to note is that the brain cannot differentiate between a real threat and a perceived threat. Okay, so if you imagine, like, you have some tasty food in front of you, you'll get the biochemistry goes behind it, you get salivation, you'll get gas, hunger pangs, and you get the desire to have food. But even if you close your eyes and you imagine about your favorite food, you recall a memory about a tasty food you had, you will have the same response in the body. You'll get salivation, you'll get a desire to have food. So the brain doesn't differentiate whether it is a threat is real or it is perceived. So this is the thing which goes on in the brain 24/7. The threatening thoughts are a real threat for the brain, and it perceives as a real threat, and it constantly produces a chronic stress response. So we would say, is stress good or bad? The acute stress, of course it is good. It is for the survival. It is why, because of the acute stress, we are standing here, we are, as a species, we are thriving. Then there is a toxic stress, which we just said about, and there is an eustress. Eustress is the right balanced amount of stress. The stress is a balance, the bell-shaped curve. On one end, there is very less stress. In that state, what happens? Life becomes boring. There is no motivation, there is no ambition to work, to create something positive, to have an impact. And on the other end, it is a toxic stress which creates a toll on the body and the mind. And in between that, there is a balanced stress which has to be done so that life is fruitful, life is purposeful. At the same time, we don't suffer from the stress disorders. So, about stress management, there are various modalities. Everywhere it is spoken, stress isse theek hota hai, isse theek hota hai. There's so many things. People do so many things, of course. But I have emphasized on meditation because the meditation has a capacity to form the brain, to produce new neurons, to new neural connections in the brain. Because other things which tackle stress, they are temporary. Jab acute stress hua, then you just tackle that. But neuroplasticity is the capacity which is of the brain, which we can use for our benefit. There are changes, positive changes in the brain because of consistent meditation. So these are the things like it reduces the neuronal discharges between amygdala and ventromedial prefrontal cortex. So the prefrontal cortex and amygdala are connected by a circuit of neurons, and all the emotional responses are transmitted between them. What meditation does, it tones down the neuronal pathways between the amygdala and the prefrontal cortex. So what happens is, there is something like amygdala hijack when there is overpower of threatening emotions, negative emotions like fear of the future, or anger, irritation, some guilt. So all these things, what they do, they overwhelm the amygdala, and they just stop the prefrontal cortex. That is why when we are stressful, we are not able to think clearly. This is called as amygdala hijack. In acute anger and all, we do impulsive actions, we do impulsive speech. So this is the cause of conflict also. So all these are the causes. And meditation involves a lot of breathing also, and in that breathing, when we do deep breathing through the diaphragm, it causes activation of the vagus nerve, and vagus nerve is the parasympathetic nerve which activates, which switches our sympathetic to the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the relaxing part of the nervous system. And it also, there are slow waves. Meditation generates a lot of slow waves. We'll talk about it later. And these are the various conditions in which meditation can improve, and including good sleep, mental disorders. It has been seen that meditation also increases telomerase enzyme activity. Telomeres are the, yeah, they are the ends of the chromosome, and telomerase enzyme is responsible for rebuilding that ends of chromosomes, and short telomere length is responsible for aging. So with meditation, if we do regular meditation practice, it reverses the degenerative effects of aging as well. That is why we see long-term meditators and yogis and all, we can't make out their age. Some say he's 150, 200 years, but they look quite younger. And this is, I can say, like 90 minutes of meditation practice for at least 90 days, then you really start feeling all these changes. Now, I'll just, in short, I'll discuss what are the states of the mind in terms of brain waves. Okay, so the brain wave frequencies. The first is the beta wave frequency, and this beta wave is a high frequency, 12 to 16 hertz. And like when we are awake now, we are listening, we are doing something with eyes open, we are in the beta state, which is low beta. And a high beta state is a very high frequency, 18 to 30 hertz, in which is called the monkey mind. Shifting thoughts, fleeting thoughts, shifting emotions, anxiety, anger, so many things. This is called the monkey mind. Then the next, alpha brainwave. This is a very interesting brainwave, and it is in the relaxed state of brain, we can say, relaxed state of mind. It shows prominence of alpha brainwaves, and it is like relaxed or idle. It is a calm state, and physiologically we can see this state just before going to sleep, when we are drowsy, when we are yawning, and just after waking up, 15 to 20 minutes after waking up, when we are a little bit slow in a relaxed state. That is the in those times we see we physiologically are in alpha state. And even slower phase is less than alpha is theta state, and theta state is a state of light sleep. So alpha state is a bridge between the high activity beta and a slow activity theta, or light sleep. So it is a bridge. So this relaxation phase is very, very important. We should understand the physiology and how we can evoke this, how we can induce this. So there are a lot of things through which we can induce the alpha state. One is by just closing the eyes. You know, just as you close the eyes, just as the sensations from the eyes, because 90% of the senses we get through the eyes. Rest is from the ear, throat, ear, nose and all. But just as you close the eyes, almost then you shift, you latch yourself in the alpha state. Closing the eyes, and just take 5 to 10 deep diaphragmatic abdominal breathe. Take deep breaths and then exhale through the pursed lips. If we can do this, just take few deep breaths and very gentle exhalation, prolonged and gentle exhalation with closed eyes. So this is a very effective technique for rapid relaxation. This is whenever there is a state of conflict or acute stress, you just do this. People always said कि गुस्सा आ रहा हो तो सांस लो, आग बंद करके थोड़ा सोचो. So you are immediately latched into the alpha state, and the impulsivity reduces. Okay. Then there are various other methods. Listening to good classical music is also induces alpha. And especially the Indian school of music has done a lot of studies in which there are certain ragas like Bhairavi, Malkauns. When you play the soft instrumental music, it relaxes, it induces an alpha, a relaxed state in the brain. Then there is a technique called as progressive muscle relaxation, PMR, which is anciently, it was known as Yog Nidra. In fact, Yog Nidra is not a very ancient technique. It is discovered in the early 19th century by the Bihar School of Yoga, which was founded by the famous autobiography of Yogi author. So this is a very effective state to relax. it involves a lying down position, and in that there is a guided it is a guided command in which you relax the body from the head to the toe, all the muscles of the body. It is just a passive process, it is just a guided. There are a lot of videos available on YouTube, free videos lasting from 15 minutes to 20, 30 minutes or 40 minutes, where you can put them and just relax. You just lie down, nothing doing. You know, it is effortless and very very effective method to. Yeah, you just lie down in shavasana, and then you have to listen to the command, sir. Just relaxing the muscles, the all tense muscles, because when there is sympathetic activation, there's always the muscles are tense. You have to relax. Walking barefoot on the grass, being in nature, these also things which are definitely helpful in a relaxing state of mind. The earth has a frequency which is similar to alpha, which is known as a Schumann's resonance. This is around 7 to 8 hertz, and when you walk in contact with the earth without any insulation of feet, insulation of slippers or anything between, then although you pick up the frequency of the Schumann resonance, which is alpha. So that's why it is recommended to walk barefoot on grass or sand or even soil. Okay, and definitely alpha will give a very good calming effect. But I would want to tell you that alpha is not meditation. It is a preparatory stage of meditation. Mostly it is projected as meditation, but it is not real meditation. Then the next state is the theta brainwave state, which is 0 to 4 hertz, and physiologically we see this state in light sleep and in a dream state, and also in light meditation. And when anyone is engaged in imagination or very creative work, absorbed, like a painter who's painting, is absorbed in the painting, then you can see this theta wave state in those people. And we can induce this in meditation as well. We can induce this state. We can take the benefit of light sleep in meditation. By this we can induce by recalling a very pleasant memory, because this theta state is associated with imagery, imagination. That, like, dreams are imagination, they are visualizations. So when you recall a visual which is very pleasant, we can induce theta state. And in this state we have enhanced creative and intuitive abilities. Then the delta state. This is the very slow wave state, and this is the real meditation state. And normal physiologically we can see this is in deep sleep, and we can see this is in deep dreamless sleep, non-REM sleep. And this is also called as a zero state, or the shunya avastha, or the samadhi. And this is the real meditative state. And in this meditative state you get a very pleasant, joyful, blissful feeling. It is not rare to have it. Don't think that we cannot have it. Anyone with the right practice can very much achieve, and meditation will be very pleasantful. It will be something like addiction for you when we achieve this state. So in this state, when we stay in meditation in this state, a lot of healing start happening in the body. It is something like whatever healings happen in repair, restoration happen in the deep sleep. The same things happen when we are in the delta state. And to induce delta state in meditation, what we do is we focus on space. Normally, when I will guide you to the meditation, it will be a focus on the breath. It is a simple breath meditation, I will guide you. But there is a space between breaths. There is an inspiration, there is a small gap, and then there is an expiration, and there is a small gap. When you try to catch that gap, when you focus on that gap, you latch into delta state. That is a wonderful state to be. And one more, another space, if we can close the eyes and try to see behind the eyes, there's a dark empty space behind the eyes. If you can just feel it, just close it and just try to see behind the eyeballs. Do you see a dark space there? Do you see a dark space there? Yeah, that is a space. That is the space you focus on, and there you will be in the delta state, which is a very good quality meditative state, ultimate state. And even it is said, even on the chest, middle of the chest, the heart space, which you call mediastinal space, here also if you close your eyes, you gradually you can start feeling an empty space here on your chest. That is also a space which you can focus on to go into delta. So gamma, this is an amazing state. This is an amazing state. This is normal in physiological state. We don't see these waves. These are very high frequency waves, more than 30, up to 100. And you can say this is a very advanced mental state. Almost you can say it's like a speed Ferrari in your brain. High mental, high physical abilities. And these waves have been seen in Tibetan monks. These have been seen in Navy SEAL trainees. And here there is peak physical and mental performance. And here what happens is there is coherent, the brain fires coherently. All these parts of the brain, they coherently and synchronously fire together. There is very calmness, yet there is very high focus, very high attention, extreme calm state. So this meditation or this technique is being used for Navy, US Navy, Army SEAL trainees and commandos who need all that to be done. And can we induce gamma state? Yes, yes, we can. There is a technique. There's a very good research in done by an institute which is called as HeartMath Institute, and they have developed this technique in which we can generate heart coherence. This is called heart coherence meditation, and this is very commonly called as loving kindness meditation, LKM. Okay, so this is the meditation where you can generate gamma waves. You can get that super brain. You can get the super functional abilities of the brain. And here it is so simple to do. As I've written here, just visualize and radiate love from your heart to your loved ones, like this. And close your eyes and just radiate love. Okay, that radiating that love can be in any form of your imagination. It can be in form of waves, or send smileys or heart or a hug, anything, or anything you like, whatever fits your imagination, just do that. At the end of meditation, you just do it for 5 minutes. Consistently doing that, you'll observe immense benefits, immense healing happens in the body, and lot of rest. So this is a very amazing technique to do. Now meditation, this I called it as a life hack, because I have observed that meditation helps in 5 out of 6 pillars of lifestyle lifestyle medicine. And this is based on my own experience, my own journey. And if I can say in short, I took up meditation 7 years back for my insomnia. I had a lot of very poor quality sleep. I used to sleep for long hours, but my quality of sleep was very bad. When I used to wake up, I was groggy, sleepy, very irritable. So I thought meditation should be taken. But that sleep issues, they all resolved in 1 month. Absolutely. Perfect, peaceful sleep. I was bubbling with energy within 1 month of doing. I did around 2 to 3 hours of meditation daily, 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the evening. And within a month, my sleep was absolute, which is still this date. I enjoy absolute great sleep. And in that journey, I got many things which I never expected at all. I just wanted sleep. But in that journey, gradually what things happened, I cured my migraine. I had a migraine frequency of 2 attacks per week, and it came down to once in 6 months in 1 year. And if I have a very stressful condition or hectic travel, then once in a while I get a migraine, that too very mild. Otherwise I'm almost free of migraine, and that was very surprising for me. I cured my body aches and pains, like something like fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, evening में जो पूरा थकान लगता है, don't feel like doing anything. So all those things were there, and it was part of my life. But with meditation, I improved that. I felt very light, very energetic, and that happened within a year, all these things. And one more surprising thing, I cured my motion sickness with that. I had a lot of motion sickness. Asha ma'am has been to Udaipur. My place is in the Aravali range. It is up and down hills. So even if I travel 20 kilometers, I have severe vomiting. I have to take ondansetron every 4 hourly, 6 hourly in a road journey. But then gradually, I didn't know it happened. Then 2-3 times it happened that I forgot to take ondansetron, and then I was just fine. Then I clicked me, what happened? I didn't do anything. Why this time I didn't get a vomit or anything like that? Then I correlated probably it is because of the meditation. Then I just thought about I went to the literature, and migraine and motion sickness, they are mutual risk factors. They happen together. When you have a migraine, you have a tendency to motion sickness, and you have motion sickness, you have a tendency to migraine attack. So both went off. I don't know what pathway was involved in that, but it went off. So when I got all those benefits, I was amazed what happened to this. I never learned anything this in my medical curriculum. Then when I went and searched into literature for my own curiosity, I found many researches, many articles on body healings in meditation, and so many things, so many positive things. So and one more thing, I would say meditation reduces the food cravings. This is the experience of many meditators, that it regulates the hunger, because hunger is a pleasure. It is related to the dopamine. It is related to the primitive brain, the amygdala. So once the amygdala is fixed with meditation, then automatically your hunger comes down, the cravings come down. So food cravings automatically came down. It was effortless. I didn't put any effort for them. It happened just that way. And because of that, my food, the satisfaction after food was, after a small portion, it was enough for me. So just with the reduction of the portions of food, my weight came down by 3 kgs. I was 54, I went to 51 without doing anything. That was a surprise for me, just because of the food. And of course, addictions are there, which are again the limbic pathway. So meditation affects all the pathways. Okay. So we'll just shift to meditation. What is meditation? There is no consensus on the definition of meditation, but because meditation is an ancient thing, so I'll take the definition from the ancient manual, which is Patanjali Yoga Sutra, Chitta Vritti Nirodha. That is Dhyan. Chitta means mind, Vritti means the tendencies of the mind, Nirod means stopping or controlling the tendencies of the mind. What is not meditation? I said relaxation and all those techniques are not meditation. Types of meditation: focus attention, like you focus on something, or you focus on the breath, you focus on the mantra, you focus on something, you focus on the dance, you focus on body movements, tai chi. They're all meditations. Open monitoring meditation, which we call mindfulness meditation. Okay, so meditation, when to do, any time is meditation time, but the best time is just before going to sleep and just after waking up, because you are in the alpha state. What age to do? Any age is meditation. I teach my patients, and as young as 4 years, they pick up meditation more, accept it easily than adults. My friend's daughter, she began meditating when she was 2.5, and she's 5 now. And we can imagine children who meditate, how miraculous individuals they will become later. What place? Any place. Select any silent, cool place in your home. And how long to meditate? There is a dose for meditation, the number of minutes of your age. If my age is 50, I'll do 50 minutes. You can do at a stretch. That is the minimum. Do at a stretch. You can do it in 2 parts. Morning 25, evening 25. And there's no upper limit. As much as you enjoy, you do it. Okay. So we'll now do meditation. Okay. I'll tell you the technique. It is very simple. Just sit. Either you sit in a cross-leg position. Just interlock your fingers like this. This is the most relaxed state, that is why. Okay, doing this any posture will keep you alert and engaged. So just do, if you can sit cross leg, otherwise you just cross your ankles like this, hang on your chair, then remove your specs, because we'll not see anything now, we'll just see inside, and gently close your eyes. थोड़ा लाइट डिम हो सकता है. Close your eyes and relax your body. Just scan your body from head to toe with closed eyes. See where there is tension. Whatever are the tight muscles, Just pay attention to them and relax. Keep your eyes closed. Just relax your body. Fingers crossed, feet crossed at the ankle. Let your body loose. And now take a few breaths. Take 5 breaths from your abdomen. Gradual but deep and soft breaths. Inhale from the abdomen and exhale through pursed lips. Open your mouth and exhale as if you're gently blowing a candle. Slow, prolonged exhalation. And now just imagine a beautiful moment of your life, any beautiful memory. Take your mind there. Just travel. Take your mind to a beautiful memory, the most joyful moment of your life. The birth of your child, your marriage, your first crush, your first love, anything, your first achievement. Just transport yourself to that beautiful memory. It can even be a place of natural beauty if you visited and you love that space, and just go and soak yourself in that environment. And now take your attention to your nostrils and watch your in breath and out breath. Just watch your breath, your natural soft rhythm of the breath. Don't make any efforts. Let the breath flow as it flows naturally, just effortless. आती हुई सांस और जाती हुई सांस, बिल्कुल जेंटल सॉफ्ट ब्रेथ जो चल रही है उसको ही देखते रहिए. Attach yourself with your breath. Just observe how it comes in the nostril, where it reaches, how it goes off the nostrils. Track the whole route of the breath. And as you observe your breath, observe the small gap between the breaths. There is a small gap. Inspiration, a gap, and an expiration, and a gap. Just catch hold of the gap. There will be thoughts coming in between. Let them come. No problem. Let them come and let them go. We need not attach with them. थॉट्स के साथ बहना नहीं है, बस उनको आ रहे हैं तो आने दो और जाने दो. And just remind yourself to be with your breath again. The beautiful breath. Keep your eyes closed. Move as little as possible. Relax and just attach yourself with your breath. This is the breath which has been keeping us alive, but we never paid attention to it. Just watch this beautiful life through the breath. आती हुई सांस और जाती हुई सांस के साथ जुड़े रहना है हमको. Just soak yourself in this beautiful peace of this beautiful flute music. Get absorbed in yourself. Tame your monkey mind with this breath. Make your monkey mind the Hanuman. Hanuman is Pavan Putra Hanuman. Pavan is the breath of life. Focus on the breath, and your mind becomes like Hanuman, not the monkey mind. Enjoy the peace. Forget the struggles and be with the breath. If anything is happening in the body, any sensations, any pain, any tension, just observe it. Just observe it like a witness. What is happening in my body? What are my thoughts coming in my body? Just observe them. Don't flow with them. आती हुई सांस और जाती हुई सांस के साथ जुड़े रहे. Catch the space between your breath. हर सांस को महसूस कीजिए. पूरी सांस को महसूस कीजिए, कैसे अंदर आ रही है, कैसे बाहर जा रही है. शांत होके, पूरी तरह शांत होके. Dissolve yourself into this tranquil breath, in this tranquil space. बहुत सुंदर सांसें चल रही है। इन्हीं सांसों के साथ जुड़े रहना है। Be aware of the breath. Relax your body, relax your mind. Be with yourself. Be with your own being and your breath. आती हुई सांस और जाती हुई सांस और सांसों के बीच के गैप। इस शांति में पूरी तरह डूब जाएं। Deep rest, deep relaxation is happening. Whatever are the thoughts, let them come and let them go. Just watch them like traffic, coming and going, coming and going. I am with my breath. I am attached with my breath. This beautiful life-giving breath. सांस और जाती हुई सांस। पूरी तरह शांत होकर केवल सांसों को देखना है। Beautiful breaths and beautiful meditation. Dissolve yourself in this beautiful flute, Krishna's beautiful flute. And now, gradually shift your attention to your heart area, the middle of your chest, and send love radiations to all your loved ones, your children, your spouse, your parents, all near and dear ones. Visualize them in front of you and visualize the love energy, the love radiations from your heart to their heart. Send heartfuls of love to them. Send love radiation. Radiate love for everyone you love. Send them your love. And now, last 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gently keeping your eyes closed. Open your hands and keep gently on your closed eyes. And open your eyes and put your hands down. Yeah, that's what it. Thank you so much. Thank you.